All right, it's Chris Reynolds here with the All Pro Team Talks, and I got a special guest today, Mike Mashburn. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Well, so you are not only a top producer in this industry, but you also happen to be overseeing our property management. So let's talk about that today, because we're in a market that is a very interesting market, and so renting is obviously another option. Kind of dive into the rental market a little bit and tell me, the ins and outs of what property management looks like.
Well, years ago, there wasn't any property management companies, and everybody kind of did it kind of a solo act, and people ran into a lot of problems.
Sure.
Now the laws have changed somewhat to help us out a little bit through magistrate court, those type of things. Before, evictions didn't necessarily go on your record and stay on it.
Yeah.
Now we do credit checks, criminal background, that kind of stuff, so we're able to see what type of people we're dealing with.
Sure.
So getting a good tenant is huge. You know, I've had some bad tenants, and it can be a nightmare. But as far as rental management goes, again, now everybody fills out applications.
Sure.
We do background checks like we talked about. We check credit. There's a lot of things that go into it. So once you find a good tenant, it's smooth sailing most of the time.
So do you work for the owner of the property, or are you working for the tenant, or are you just kind of the in-between man to make this work?
Well, we represent the owners.
Okay.
That is our goal, to put money in their pocket.
Sure.
To keep the costs down and keep the rents, coming in and up.
Yeah.
Now, rents are up, and people see that straight across the board.
Sure.
But so are repairs.
Yeah.
As far as inflation has affected us all, repairs, labor, materials, everything's up. So as rents have came up, so have repairs and things like that. Years ago, I've owned rental property for probably 25 plus years. Before, if you had a leaky sink, you could get somebody over there for $35, $55.
Sure.
Those days are gone.
Yeah.
Now
you can't even get a Happy Meal for $35.
That is true, actually. That is true. So, inflation has affected us all straight across the board. But again, I would say to anyone that was out there trying to manage their own rental properties, the management companies are the way to go in the future.
Yeah.
We just have better luck. Me, again, as a landlord myself, I see it, that it's easier and it's the positive way to go. We take on all the issues. We take on all the headaches and things like that, and the property owners get a check in the mail, or that's how it's supposed to work.
That was my next question is, so what all do we do as a project management company?
Number one, we go out and market the properties.
Okay.
Number two, we get the applications, we get them approved, we turn that over, or we go back to the property owner and tell them, hey, this one or these three, we feel comfortable with these are good applications, and then we basically take it from there. We collect the rents, we do the repairs. Sometimes property owners want to do some of their own repairs. We don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
It takes a little load off us. That's fine with us. Also, we inspect. We do inspections every 6 months. That's another thing that a lot of personal property owners that are landlords themselves probably don't do.
Sure.
They don't go into properties unless they have.
It's a little awkward.
They don't go, well, I've heard people say before, whenever I rent a house, I hope they never call me again. Just send the checks, and it's just not that way. We have to make ourselves seen. We have to go in and out of the properties. It's just, it works. It works for the entire process.
Sure.
So we inspect every 6 months. We make lists to see what needs to be fixed, what may need to be fixed down the road. We have our own maintenance people. We have an in-house maintenance guy, and if he can't get it done, then we'll go to a professional company.
Nice. Who determines price?
We do.
Okay.
And whenever I say we do, we look at the market, we evaluate it, and if you were the property owner, I would come to you, and, if it's what we've seen lately, I'll give you an idea. 2-bedroom, 1-bath duplex in the city of Carrollton, the going rate's about $900 a month.
Wow. Okay.
If you have another one, maybe just a 1,200 to 1,400 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath brick ranch, that number's probably, depending on how it's been updated, it's $1,400 to $1,600 a month.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, we do see some rentals, and we have a couple that are over, 1,800 plus, but that's few and far in between in our area.
So you're a property manager, but you're also you sell real estate.
That is correct.
So
for 27 years.
27 years. So there's got to be a grind there of, when you're talking to somebody that's out in the market trying to buy, the benefits of buying, but also there is a benefit to renting. How do you kind of work through that in your mind to help people out?
Well, I think that rental in most cases is a short-term fix.
Okay.
So I do tell people if the market's a certain way and it's not to their advantage, that maybe they ought to rent for a year or two.
Yeah.
Just to see where the market goes. Number two, repair their credit and kind of have a game plan going into it. That's my mind, thought on that is what works best for the customer.
Sure.
If the rates are down, of course, I feel like rates right now, they have came down a little, and I think it's a good time to buy again. But it's just what works for the customer. Again, I think that rental most of the time is just a short-term fix. If you move to an area and you don't really know the area, it might be best to rent for 12 months.
Yeah.
Get out and take a look at there and see what works best for you and where you'd want to be in the community.
Sure. Is there still a market for those folks out there that are wanting to buy properties to rent out right now?
There is. Pricing's up, but rental's up too. I guess it's all about,
it's a long-term
It's
investment.
about what you pay for the property.
Yeah.
But buying real estate, in America, and I think worldwide, is one of the best investments that you can make.
Sure.
It's a long-term investment. Now, people have bought and made short-term money, but really I think whenever you buy property and you think about renting it as far as a landlord or a property owner, that's a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And I think that most people will come to figure out that if you're going that direction, it's better to have more than less.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you've only got one or two rentals, you realize that it's a numbers game somewhat.
Is location important for rentals?
I think location's important for anything. I
For
think
everything,
the number one rule for me and you in real estate is location,
That's
location.
Yeah.
It's always been that way.
So last question I got for you.
Okay.
What keeps you from being a slumlord?
Well,
the fun term that everybody talks about, property management.
What I've seen in my 25 plus years, everyone in my family's had rental property. I've had it. My grandparents had it. If you don't keep the properties up, sooner or later, it's going to catch up with you.
Sure.
Either whenever you get ready to sell it and somebody offers you $20,000 less, and you're upset, like, no, this property's worth that. Well, it's got $25,000 worth of repairs. So after seeing that, I think the best thing to do is always stay on top of the repairs. There may be a few things that need to be done always, but the major repairs, you've got to stay on top of them. Just like if you find out something's leaking, and we see this a lot with washer and dryers, behind the washer and dryer.
Sure.
If you catch that quick, it's not an issue. You wait 3 or 4 years, you're replacing the entire floor, in the laundry room.
Sure.
So it goes from being a $50 fix to probably $1,500 fix.
And if you got a dilapidated property, that's obviously going to bring down the value. It's obviously going to change clientele. I mean, there's a lot that goes into play there.
The properties, the shape of the properties is going to tell me what the property will rent for.
Sure.
And that can be hundreds of dollars of a difference. If you have a nice property and it's been well taken care of, the rental market's strong. And people are going to be interested.
Sure.
If it's rough, I hate to say it, but you're probably only going to get, rough interest.
Sure.
And that's not the name of the game.
So do we have room right now in the portfolio for people that want us to manage their property?
Absolutely.
What do they do? How do they get in contact with you?
Reach out to Metro West Realty, 770-836-0042. Talk to the Leasing and Management Department. Also, you can go online at mwestleasing.com. You can see the photos. You can see the applications. You can see all the information needed on any properties we have available or any properties we represent. One last thing, too, for the property owners / landlords, we use Appfolio, and it's great. You can see everything online. They see where their money's going. They see what the rents are, what's coming in, what's going out. So that's really, it's really good. Times have changed for the for
Sure.
property management, and it's
Sure.
a good thing.
Yeah. You're not door knocking.
Right. Well,
You're hopefully not door knocking.
and I'll just say this. I've been a landlord again 25, 27 years. And before, we were doing it another way. And you didn't
Yeah.
really, myself.
Sure.
I didn't, people filled out applications. I breezed over it and went on.
Yeah.
And then in a few months,
It'd bite you.
it bit me bad.
Yeah.
And I got bit many a times. And today with these application processes, it just cleans up the whole process.
Sure.
You know who you're dealing with, you know their history, and you know their background. Going into it, you know what, you can basically see what type of person you're dealing with.
Yeah. Well, that's great. If you have any questions about property management, obviously, we've given you contact information there. We'd love to take you on as a client. We're also going to protect your investment because that is beneficial for our future in this business as well as it is for your investment. So give us a shout. Let us know. And if you have any questions about property management, please don't hesitate to ask those questions. If you have a house to rent, please call Mike. If you have a house to sell, call me, and we'll be doing just fine. But beyond that, man, thanks for tuning in to the All Pro Team Talks, and we'll see you next time.